It's HorizonCasts, yeah, your host, your streamer extraordinaire. I am being graced with the presence of a Blackmage, as I am trying to bribe him into... Would you come to the LCS finals if I bought you a ticket? What is it going to take? We're like, honey, listen, I know it's the birth of our child, but I got this thing I got to go to. I got this nerd event I got to be there for.
Yeah, we would have to bring my wife and then also guarantee and then find a Kaiser hospital near the event. That would probably be the only way. And then we'd also have to bring the entire family.
There's a hospital near Allen. There's a hospital near the stadium. It's not that far.
Yeah. Well, I'm talking about the one in Arizona.
Oh yeah.
That being said, SyncUniverse banning out the Zyra. What might seem like more of a support pick is actually a favored jungle pick by Serial Enters jungler Extra, who just really likes playing that champion there. First picks it very often, something they probably learned in scrims, or just maybe from past VODs. I know that when me and Extra were back on Momentum, he played that champion quite a bit. That being said, SyncUniverse picking probably the safest first pick mid laner in the game, Victor, and a strong pick at that.
Yeah. Just as a reminder to everybody as we're going to go through this draft that our Overclock Division is the highest level that we have within the server. These are all Masters players. These guys are really, really good. As the Ashe Seraphine going to get locked in for Serial Enters. I love that combination. I talk about it all the time. I think it's fantastic. I think it's one of the best. Man, these guys are just blazing through draft.
Yeah, this is like some very, very good note-taking, I would imagine, on these teams' parts, really ensuring that they kind of know answers and what they want to play. They have a very good game plan going into this first game. It signals to me that they really have done their homework on each other. Ashe Seraphine, obviously one of the most potent bot lane combos in the current patch, and they're pairing with the Nocturne, a very explosive combination. The Ashe ult, the Seraphine ult, both combo very well with Nocturne. Does secure some easy ganks, and so I am already terrified of that level 6 if I was on SyncUniverse looking at this Serial Enters team.
Oh yeah, they have a tremendous amount of lockdown on anybody here from the side of SyncUniverse. Ashe Arrow, Seraphine, Enchanted Crystal Arrow with Encore, plus Nocturne just turning out the lights and flying in like a bat out of hell. I mean, it makes it really difficult if you're trying to get away. They have some decent peel with Nami so far, but they need a little bit more. I think if they want to try to mitigate some of the just point-click engage that Serial Enters has right now. Right now, this is a draft that you would just see straight up come out of a pro league. I mean, this draft wouldn't be out of place in some place like the LEC or the LPL. I mean, this is their bread and butter.
Yeah, and something I wanted to comment on, unfortunately it happened before I could say anything, so now I don't look like as smart as I could have been, is the Orianna ban coming out from SyncUniverse. Very obvious. You want to prevent the 4-way combo from actually coming to fruition. Orianna Nocturne combo, very tried and true, and something that is just absolutely terrifying to play against, especially as a Victor. There's really no answer to it, and so getting that off the board really shuts that option down. There are a few other ways that Nocturne can combo off mid laners. I'm just curious to see whether or not we actually see any of those played by Lucid. Lucid World obviously hopping from a bunch of different teams and ending up on this Serial Enters roster. He's a great player, very explosive in comms, and really, I feel like the team that he finally ended up on is perfect for his play style, and I'm excited to see him on the Rift.
Just going through the potential list of mid laners, anything else we might see there? The Aurelion Soul was another champion. Oh, never mind. We're gonna have to wander Galio. I like that.
And you take it away too. Yeah.
Well, and I like that too because you're mitigating some of the magic threat inherently from the Victor, and then also like it further synergizes Wombo combo. Like, you can only ban out so many different champions that have the ability to get across the rift really quickly, and Galio is like in a composition where you have a lot of other damage from Ashe and Nocturne and potentially a top laner here. Like, I really like that they're drafting some safety and even more engaged to just like further accentuate the fact that they're just diving on top of SyncUniverse.
Yeah,
SyncUniverse.
Yeah, SyncUniverse. Serial Enters, their whole identity is very straightforward. It's very easy to execute. Doesn't really require you to have the best hands in order to still play, with a comp that seems like they're playing out of their mind. Galio Ultimate on top of Nocturne is just so deadly as a diving frontline. And it really creates a lot of safety for the Ashe Seraphine, because just the fear that you're instilling in your opponents, pretty much everyone's running away trying to get from this combination. And then you've got Galio already set up as a perfect frontliner almost every time. They picked Malphite first pick. That seems so cursed. I feel like cursed. That is the first draft sin of the game. At first picking Malphite with so many top lane options available seems absolutely crazy to me. I mean, I get it. You have easy backline access because nothing can really stop you from ulting onto the Ashe, but oh man, this is going to be so tough.
Volley Bear.
Yeah, Trey 1235 is going to have a field day in this lane. Volley Bear will get the better half of that matchup every day of the week. Players is just really exciting for them. I'm excited to see what they can pull out and how they play against one another, and how these teams grow and adapt over time. And likewise, I'm excited to see the other two divisions, Surge and Hardwire, really evolve and adapt and improve over time as well. I've actually already seen some of these teams scrim against each other inter-division, and the games are pretty competitive. So that tells you that we're creating a really good ecosystem, that these players are really dedicated to improving over time. And, I'm excited, just like you said, to see where this league goes.
Absolutely. And I think for fans too, that, you want to start to see closer and closer series. It's cool to have a couple teams in the divisions, and even throughout the, the entirety of the server, that they are strong and they're fairly dominant. But you want to see teams keep things relatively close. You want to see tight competition. You want to see teams earn their stripes. And I think, like with the Smash divisions, as you pointed out, like going from two teams to having a whole tournament's worth is going to feel really good. And a little bit of a pop quiz. Let's see how many people even at home have been paying attention. How many series have we had so far that have gone the full best of 3?
If I recall correctly, I think it's only one. No,
it's only one. Bushwookies. Bushwookies versus GA.
Glacier.
Yeah, it's the only series we've had so far that has gone the full best of 3, and I'm hoping that we get an actual full best of 3 from our Masters divisions a little bit more consistently. So, but plenty of time to see if we'll do it.
Yeah, and a lot of the players that are playing in this exact match are fairly new to the Discord and probably deserve some shoutouts. So, a lot of people playing for the first time on stream. Almost the entire team, if not the entire team of Sync, is brand new to the Discord. So just glad to have all of them joining in on the fun. On the side of Serial Enters, I believe it's only Extra and Lucid who are former players of the league and have competed in the tournaments thus far. So a lot of new faces. It's going to be really interesting to see how our opinions of these players develop over time, where their stat lines fall after the games. We can actually start to see who is the real GOAT of this league, which is something that is interesting to think about, because I feel like in the other divisions, we kind of have a better understanding of who the best players are just by virtue of them being around longer. But in this league specifically, there's so much new talent, it's hard to say.
Yeah. No, it's something that we'll have to keep our eyes peeled out for. And it's cool, too, because when you see a new division like this fully get kicked off, where you're moving from only having 2 teams, you get all those faces, and you get to learn more about those players and kind of see where new young talent develops, even with just in the ecosystem of our league. And so it'll be exciting to see how these games shape up as the weeks, in the weeks and months to come. But looking forward onto this game, let's talk about some of the early game stuff. These drafts, I think, they're not super disadvantaged one way or the other. I think both teams have really, really easy ways to win the game. That was one of the things that we didn't necessarily get to talk about after that draft had completed. So just kind of walk me through some of your expectations for both of these teams in the first 10 or so minutes of the game.
Well, something that I feel like needs to be said is that in a lot of scenarios, a bit melancholy might be in the bad position here. Might have to
Bear's
gonna summoner, and he does.
Yeah, Bear's gonna get popped just to avoid potentially going down there. Will not feel so good to not have that summoner, so they'll need to be careful. Post level 6 flash forward from Ektra though wants to try and get the full fear. Does go underneath the turret, has to walk away. A little bit committed there, but they did get the flash out of Empyrean, so they'll be able to re-gank that if they want to.
Yeah, a win for the side of Serial Enters. I feel like Ektra doesn't really care that he took too much damage there. He already had to go back and reset anyways. All of his camps are gone, so good play overall by Serial Enters to burn that flash there. But meanwhile, on the bot side, bit melancholy, does have to burn the barrier, so a little bit of a trade bot for top there. But Shufrus does not have that heal anymore, so Bot lane, summoners, blown all around. But what I was going to say is something that should be noted, especially in this upper division, is that these games will seem a lot more stagnant towards the the early to mid game, but it's simply because the players on these teams understand these matchups a little bit more. They're a little bit more experienced. They're, like you said, the majority of them are Masters ranked, so they understand the matchups. They understand what not to do, most importantly, and so you will see these matches emulate what we see in LCS a little bit closer, and that the volatility will not be as high. I don't expect us to see these, 18 kill games pre 20 minutes like we do in the other divisions.
No, fully agree. And I think that's just something that as a viewer can be a little bit confusing sometimes too, because I feel like when you watch pro matches, you see a player step forward in a way, like especially in a solo lane, I think particularly in the top side most of all, we're like, oh, like I can't believe he's that far forward, and like I can't believe he's not, like someone's not trying to run up there to gank him right now. It's like, well, that's because it's a different mentality for these players that are at this level where it's like, if you're trying to run up there and gank somebody, but it's in the early game, you're giving up a lot of pressure and a lot of timing in terms of jungle camps and stuff like that. And so it's just a different decision-making process that players like this make, where they don't make the same decision that you and I were make because they're viewing it from a different mentality of what else they're trading for. And so I definitely agree. Like most of these early games, with the exception of if a team just drafts for hyper early to mid game, they're going to be a little bit quieter. You're going to see these players be more disciplined, and you'll see them be more willing to make trades for things across the map without necessarily focusing on kills.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. They're gonna make plays, like you said, that a lot of players may shake their heads at and say, why are they doing so? But yeah, like you said, they have all the advantage. They have all the information rather. Meanwhile, on the bot side, Extra does ult in and gets a fleeing onto Shafruz.
Yep. Just a little bit of a pressure gank there. Not actually looking for a whole lot, just trying to fish for summoners. And I think that's an effective way to gank. I think even if you don't necessarily get a kill, especially in high-level matchups like this where the players are playing on thinner margins, and even we saw it yesterday, just the difference of one summoner can be the difference between whether or not you win or lose a team fight.
Yeah, 100%. This bot laner, this support, is it Shafue? Is it Shafu?
I have no idea. I'm going with Shafuse, just because that seems the most. I think it's Shafuse.
The name was made hard for us, and
yeah,
so that's they suffer.
This was the caster litmus test. This is how you determine whether or not we're good, is if whether or not on first call we can get someone's summoner name right.
Yeah. What everyone needs to be if you have a friend like this Knight player, give him a hug. This guy's doing it right.
You guys doing it right?
Right?
Yeah.
Not to be confused with LPL Knight.
No.
But nighttime Knight.
Could you imagine? We just load into a game, and it's the Riot verified account Knight. Like, why is he, it's just he's running around trolling recreational leagues. Like, I've always wondered if there's ever pro players that, like, they just decide to do that, where they just get an incognito account. It's just completely unassuming. Nobody thinks it's them, and they're just running around wrecking your rec league games. Surely there's at least one or two pro players that do that, right? It can't be zero.
Maybe not pro players, but I would definitely imagine something like that happening with, like, an academy player or a challenger league player, for sure. I feel like the pro players maybe don't have enough free time to be able to do that.
I don't know.
Especially
they're not playing a whole lot of solo queue these days, I hear. So they got to be spending their free time on something. I'm just saying.
That's so funny. Lane states so far pretty even. To be expected how they're going. I will say this: Galio having a CS lead is pretty impressive, given that Victor has a very, very easy time farming.
Yep.
And Galio does have to take a lot of damage in order to step up to the wave, but Galio has a lot of MR built into his kit by default, so does have a lot of damage mitigation there. But still something noteworthy to call out. Junglers are completely even almost. Top lane, a 10 farm lead, which we would expect given that the Volibear Malphite matchup is just so rough.
Speaking of
the bot side, though.
All right, Channa Crystal Arrow on top of the Corki. Encore, though, but he manages to Valkyrie across the wall, but it will still be first blood going over to CI. They're going to get the dragon. They're going to pick up the Graves. They're going to be happy with that trade. Let's see if they can get something more. Flash forward to get out. Knight. Oh, doesn't get far enough away. Gets knocked up. Taunted. Lucid World wants to see if he can get a little bit more, but won't, and will just walk out. But first blood, first drag over to CI.
Yeah, just not enough control, not enough vision to know exactly what Serial Inters had actually planned on doing, and an excellent collapse by Lucid World, comboing with Extra, getting into that Dragon Pit quickly, forcing Spammer to actually dash out of the pit, which basically guarantees you the Dragon. And we watch as Serial Inters walks away with not only the first blood, but the first Dragon of the game, and it looks like they're even trying to get the Herald, or the Krugs? No,
the Grubs.
Grubs as well.
The hair grubs, the herald the grubs and the Gromp combined.
Yeah, that's right. But yeah, overall, great play by Serial Enters. Good combination and coordination between Lucid World and Extra. That's what you want to see from this combo. It's what it's built to do, and they executed on it perfectly.
Yep. And now I'm worried about this Graves pick for the side of Sync. As we were highlighting earlier, it's one of those champions that it really does need to get involved early. I'm not sure what we're looking at here. Is Extra just kind of hanging out there? Not sure if there was some kind of spectator problem or if there was just a connection issue for him. But I think for Spammer, like, this early game is not really going the way you wanted it to. You wanted to potentially lock down that first dragon and then win a skirmish off of that. And so the fact that the Graves is actually just a little bit of CS down, has already been killed one time, and is going to be a little bit less useful in the game state right now, I think is a little bit concerning. And so I think if you're Sync, you want to try and find a way to get him involved somewhere, either in a solo lane or get in a position to contest another objective, because to me, if this Graves continues on the way it is and it's not getting a whole lot done, it's not getting involved in anything, then this is just going to be a champion that's going to be, I think, not to put too fine a point on it, borderline useless in the late game.
Yeah, no, 100%. Spammer will need to likewise build some really effective items in order to be relevant towards that late game.
Ooh, how do you feel about the hubris?
I don't like it.
Not a fan. Yeah.
It is standard, and it's going to be strong if he can get some early leads here, especially if he can get 1 or 2 kills in this early game or early to mid game. Then it will be strong, but he's gonna have to contend with Trey and Lucid in his face, and I'm assuming both of these players are going to be stacking some armor just to prevent themselves from taking too much damage from Mate and Spammer. So yeah, he's got a rough job. He's going to have a difficult time actually getting on top of Melancholy, which is pretty much his only target. Yeah, we got some damage coming down the bot side.
Even more plays going down as another Enchanted Crystal Arrow plus the Encore locks down one. They got to manage to pick up the Nami off of that one. And Spammer might be next on the chopping block. Teleport going to be committed here for Knight. He's getting the action, blows down the Arcane Storm. We'll be able to pick up one. Can he trade for something more? No, we can't. We'll chase Lucid. We're out. But a snap play for both CI and Sync. Sync trying to be fairly responsive there. I think a decent trade there, at least to get back one. But, I mean, obviously they're in the back foot right now, and so the pace is just being dictated to them. And, you know, on the top side, Trey gets another turret, starts to get more plates. And so, CI, they're in the driver's seat right now. This is their game to win.
Yeah, no, definitely. They pull the trigger, make a great play on the bot side, end up getting a kill for that. Knight, we should acknowledge, a great TP play and gets a return kill for the trouble. But at the same time, Trey able to get the tower. Not only the tower, solo kills Empyrean by himself. And so just an excellent play all around for the side of Serial Enters. And now they've got essentially 3 winning lanes, which is something, or sorry, 2 winning lanes rather. No, 3 winning lanes.
3.
The jungle, top, and bot side. And
it was winning until a couple minion trades.
Right. Mid is winning purely because of that kill on the bot side against, I believe it was Princess.
Mm-hmm.
And so, overall, great plays by Serial Enters. But Sync aren't out of this. They obviously have a game plan. They just want to kind of stall the game, get their own item power spikes, and really rely on that Malphite engage into the backline to get some kills onto the squishy targets. But as the game progresses, if they keeps going at this rate, I think that's going to be harder and harder to do.
Yeah. And I think worse for Sync too is the fact that Trey is now out of this top lane matchup, so he can start to roam around quite a bit more, and they can look to even make even more plays in this bot side, dive both Mateo and Shifuse. Just a little bit more, which I think is going to be even more difficult. But as you highlighted, like, they're not out of this yet. They have a win condition, which is definitely to get Knight and Mateo to the late game. Quirky 3-4 item power spike is really nothing that you want to shake a stick at. It becomes really difficult to deal with him, especially once he starts stacking armor shred. It's going to be a little bit more difficult for both Trey and Lucid to kind of stand in front of him in these long trades. And also, like, outside of Ashe, outside of Matriarchy, like, they don't really have a lot of range, so it's not like Corky's super disadvantaged in these team fights.
Yeah, Corky does have the ability to kind of run over teams unexpectedly once he gets that 2-item spike. It's very, very crazy how much damage he can actually output. Serial Enters right now looking like they're going to take the second dragon uncontested, and no other objective on the board really for Sync to take advantage of, and so yeah, they're going to get away with that scot-free.
give credit to Sync. Something I want to point out, and I think this is important for viewers at home to know, is I think a lot of times in games like this, we see the team that doesn't have access to the dragon walk over there and kind of just hover around and just sit there with their hands in their pockets, kind of like, oh, well, I wish we could do something, but we're just going to stare at you, take this objective, and not get anything. And Sync did not do that. What they did instead is like, okay, we know we're not in a position to contest for this drag, so let's just go push our lanes, get some more gold, and try and make up a deficit somewhere else rather than just sit there and do nothing or potentially try to contest for a dragon that we know we're not in a position to take.
Yeah, no, exactly. They at least stay and get some farm, start to push out waves, try to get better lane positions to prevent the return when they return to lane from them just taking even more objectives. So Rift Herald has just spawned. I wonder what the play is going to look like around that. Although Ektra is already on this top side, and it looks like Galio and Trey do have the waves pushing, so they might be able to take this objective pretty easily. I just wonder if Ektra is going to complete farming or if he's going to go straight to it.
Yeah. Speaking of farming, though, Trey might be getting farmed himself as Spammer and Empyrean are here. Trey, though, has the access to the Dust and Dawn. Not super tanky, but doesn't necessarily need to be. Ektra trying to get close to the Graves. Didn't manage to man the Fear, but does flash forward and will start to put the damage into the back of the Sync jungler. Meanwhile, on the bot side, though, more plays being traded out. Princess Senpai, flash, and heal to stay a stain forward. Melancholy trying to see if he can get a little bit of the trades. He is going to use his own barrier. A root up from Princess locks him in place for just a moment. Melancholy, though, doesn't quite have the damage yet to knock him down because he only has that quiver in his pocket. Mateo, with the Trinity Force, is able to persuade them for now, and Shafu's doing a really good job of keeping him healed up. The longer this trades goes, the harder it's going to be for them to stay here, so they need to walk on out.
Princess does have a large mana advantage, so overall, Melancholy and Princess will have the advantage in this lane. CI should be able to push this out pretty easily. Mate is completely out of mana, so it cannot Q spam, and meanwhile, it looks like CI actually ends up getting the Rift Herald, so overall, the objective lead continues to fall into their hands. Something that I did want to point out is that despite the large fights that happen both in the top and bottom sides, no one has died yet, but we might see a dive here in the bot side pretty soon. Graves is in this bot side jungle, starting to take some camps away from Ektra. Let's see if Spammer gets caught or if he's able to get out scot-free. And he does smite away the blue buff. So should be able to get out of there as long as he dashes over the wall here. It looks like the whole team really wants to take advantage. Ektra's over the wall.
Ultimate just came available, and he doesn't have flash, so he's not going to be getting away from this one. They collect Spammer. Get the jungle. They can look to rotate this pressure to someone else. There's not an objective to play for, so at least for Spammer. I'm not sure that the blue buff was worth. Yeah, you did get it, but it's given over immediately, so you basically all you did was leash it. And I'm not sure that that was worth it, especially because the timing of that Nocturne ulti is very, very short right now. It's a little deceptive if you're not if you haven't played the champion a lot. It does come off cooldown a little bit faster than most people think it does. So if he had just been a top side, it was long enough for it to, you know, he should have been aware that it was going to be off cooldown, and so it does get punished.
Yeah, it's been quite some time since the patch has actually affected his ultimate, but I believe there are 2 patches in a row that lowered that ultimate cooldown, especially at levels 1 and 2, or sorry, levels 2, to make it a little bit more spammable, make this champion a little bit more valuable in competitive play, and rightfully so, it has done that, you know, just that. This champion is pretty much spammed when available in competitive play, and now that we're in the era of...
Oh, Trey manages to flash out, does get shut down though. Graves with the end of the line. What else can they fish for? Sync would like to turn this into multiplay if they can. It's going to be the unstoppable. Channeled from the Malphite. Channel Crystal Arrow only buys a little bit of space there. Not sure it was worth the throw out. If they wanted to do that, perhaps it should have thrown it out a little bit earlier, but Sync, they turn that into a double play. They'll be happy with that.
Yeah, turn it to a double play and also even up the gold. So now we're at a completely even game, and actually they're going to get a gold lead as soon as they take down this tower on the bot side.
Mid-tower
so yeah, great play, and mid-tower. Great play overall by the side of Sync, just to really come back into this game, even up that gold lead, and it's really good to see from this team. You know, their team comp is really designed to win these kind of these fights where they're kind of scrappy, where maybe 1 or 2 members of CI are missing. And, you know, when the entire Exodia comp is not together, it really doesn't look as strong as it would otherwise. You really need all 5 parts for this team to really meld correctly, or at least 4 parts being Ektra, Lucid World, Melancholy, and Princess. Trey could kind of do his own thing on the sideline, but those 4 for sure need to be together, and if they're not, the team comp from Sync will just pull ahead naturally, and it's something that we just saw just moments ago.
Yep. And we're going to reach this point here within the next 10 or so minutes where The early game advantages that CI had built, especially with having the Nocturne, they're going to start to fade away a little bit, because that is one of the other things we didn't talk about is, they do have Ashe in that composition where you're going to have some late game threat there. And obviously Trey being able to continually siege in the top side and have to have someone answer him as a draft threat. But it's not like having a Corki and a Victor in the late game where they're just able to run through the entire team's health bars and shred people in these long team fights. And so, for CI, they're going to need to be a little bit more conscious of the fact that they're on a timer. Extra flew in and is just going to get punished here as Shafuse is going to pick that one up. Meanwhile, though, in the mid lane, Knight is the focus here for the side of CI. They do trade 1-for-1 there, but it's a Dragon going the way of Sync. They want to walk their way out of this one. As CI would love to get a little bit more if they can. Not sure where they want to go with this. Melancholy is a little bit low, but should be able to walk out.
Yeah, crucially forces the flash out on Melancholy there. Even though it was a 1v2, Knight almost killing Melancholy, forcing the flash. Does end up falling, so a win overall in the mid lane at least.
Ooh.
Oh, there might be something going down right now.
The Ashe is going to go away bye-bye as Trey is going to try to immediately retreat underneath the turret. Princess Yuri, she's trying to make the decision of whether or not she's going to walk up there. I think both these guys are just going to recall, though, as oddly enough, so are Sync. I thought for sure they were potentially looking for a dive underneath that turret. The health bar for Trey was fairly low, but they decide not to get overly greedy. The teleport going to get channeled. They're going to run out towards the mid lane. Are they looking for a Baron here? That would be ballsy.
Rightfully so. I like that Spammer just bought something to mention. Really, is if Spammer just bought the Last Whisper, which indicates he's probably going to go for the
LDR,
the Giant Slayer, LDR. Yep, Lord Dominic's regards. Going to give his regards
shout
to
out
the
Root
tanks.
One time.
That's right.
Shout out Root one time on the LDR.
Gonna give his regards to the tanks on the side of CI. But yeah, overall, great plays by Sync, really playing in sync, as it were, to take advantage of the mispositioning that was performed by CI. That being said, Extra living up to the team name and Cyril inting himself into that dragon pit was pretty crazy, given that the dragon had fallen before he had even pressed R. I don't even know what the hell just happened.
You get
there.
caster points for that one. That was clean. I appreciate that joke.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the hell he was thinking there, but
I guess maybe he was thinking he was gonna get in there right in time to smite steal it away by just seeing Spammer. But no, I agree that the timing was not great for him.
Yeah, breaks my little heart seeing my son do that, but it is what it is. He'll learn and improve.
And if he doesn't, he'll continue to get serial inted. That's just how that goes.
That's right. Or he just does what the team is designed to do, I guess.
We call that a certified Captain Crunch moment.
Yeah. Dragon up in 2 minutes and 20 seconds, so really not too much going on until then. Baron,
it's my favorite soul, by the way.
Yeah.
I love Mountain Soul.
Pretty much. Mountain Soul, in my opinion, is so boring.
Come on.
It is slightly better than Hextech, or not Hextech. Sorry. Oh, jeez.
Infernal, Chemtech, Ocean.
Chemtech.
Chemtech's the worst, I think.
Yeah, that's the most boring.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't like it when no one can get blown up, and I feel like that's what Mountain Soul prevents, is all your assassins, all your bursty champions no longer can do their job, and that just seems kind of boring to me.
I'm only having fun when the assassins don't get to assassinate anything. I'm having fun when the Talon jumps my backline and then tries to full ult me and then realizes that my health bar has moved like 2 centimeters and now he's skinny on the backside of a play and with nowhere to go. That to me is the definition of fun. It's like, haha, you've miscalculated. You are bad at math. Speaking of bad at math. Yeah, Empyrean going to be wishing he calculated this risk a little bit differently. As Lucid, they're for sure going to lock this Malphite down. Really nowhere to go. Knight's there for a little bit of emotional support. Wait a minute. The health bar for Extra really not in a good spot. Is it's going to be the Galio channeling the ultimate. Not enough to save him. Uh-oh. Call an ambulance for not for me. Lucid World now trying to get the hell out of dodge. Oh, Shafuse hits him with the bubble. Just wants to walk this out of here now.
It's terrifying right here.
Yeah, Spammer's here. Encore onto one. Not what they would have wanted out of that one, but oh my god, Sync doing a really good job of trading this one back, and a fight that they started gets flipped on its head.
Yeah, what an excellent response by Knight to really turn the play on its head, like you said.
Spammer's not done.
Spammer diving under tower. Let's see what we can do.
They've got a minion wave. They've got 3 here. They can absolutely dive this Galio. He doesn't have the ultimate to get out. Doesn't have a large health bar. How do they want to handle this, though? He's fine so far. Princess keeping him. Oh, flash forward to avoid the bubble. Huge there, but does have to blow the summoner. And Sync, they'll be happy with that. They're going to take the recall. So Lucid, they're going to interrupt this. It's kind of rude. Does get smoked off. DME. He does have the end of the line, but not enough yet. My God. Meanwhile, endless action, though. Trey forcing out the flash for Mateo. Gets over the wall, but has to, again, blow the summoner. So Blackmage, these guys, we said that these were going to be a little bit more disciplined, and it wasn't going to be super nasty and ugly, an 18-kill game. We're getting close. We're starting to get there.
Yeah, we're getting close, but it is more towards the 25-minute mark rather than the 15, which I think is something we're used to. You know, it is really good to see, you know, SyncUniverse really playing in sync, as it were. They are ensuring that the only time they're taking these fights is when serial enters are kind of broken up and are out of position.
Imperium?
And looking like he wants to go in.
He's trying to see if he can get access to Melancholy. Does miss the Ash, not what he wanted. Channel Arrow going to knock down one on the backside of this, and now Extra wants to see what he can get done. Knight slays him where he stands, though. Melancholy, however, left on his lonesome on the backside, can start to get a lot done. Ooh, CI, that was their moment. They managed to get the dragon. They get the kill. They walk out. It's going to be 3 dead for the side of Sync and Baron on the table here for CI.
Yeah, an excellent flash forward by Melancholy. Really aggressive plays there. Getting a lot of damage down in combination with Princess in the backup, and we're going to watch it here. Watch Melancholy's positioning. The entire fight, it seems like he's just in a great position to be able to move forward and take damage and pot shots onto the backline when necessary. Initially here, Empyrean does land the ultimate on Extra, but Extra pops the darkness in response, dives on in, which ends up being the kill onto Knight, and once Knight's dead, Melancholy is pretty much free and able to take out the backline of SyncUniverse without an issue. We do see Empyrean eventually fall, no matter how much, you know, targets were focusing him. It just didn't really feel like it was enough. Melancholy, great plays there.
Yeah. And I think as you highlighted too, like getting on a Knight was a huge part of them being able to win that fight. Once he's down, it becomes a lot easier to navigate. Yes, Extra does have to sell a soul to get it, but as your Nocturne, that's kind of your only goal. You're there to get the summoners off of the big players like Mateo and Knight on that Victor and the Corki to make sure that they have a little bit less mobility. And then once those two are down, you can sort of just walk through the final steps, you know, mark off all the steps on the checklist to make sure that you're closing the team fight out cleanly, and then, you know, look to cascade that team fight win to somewhere else on the map. And that's exactly what you saw there. So a 1-for-3 trade and pressure on the map is, you know, CI will take that any day of the week.
100% they will. I'll take it any day of the week. This team comp is really playing to its full strengths. You know, I was about to call it out before it even happened, but the last time you actually want to fight against serial enters is around Dragon when all 5 members are up and have their ults available. If you're on SyncUniverse, what you really want to do is drag out these side lanes. Make sure that you're taking the pot shots when you can. Take out the side laners. Make them split up. Make them play out of sync. That's when you're really going to take advantage of this team comp. It doesn't really do well when the members are separated from one another, but when they are together, it's an absolute tank. That being said, individual members that I do want to keep us focused on, Spammer is about to complete another item. I believe he's going to end up going for... I actually don't know unless he's just trying to get Merc Treads and keep that crit cloak. But watch him. He does have his 3 core items completed, so he's going to start doing some damage, even to the tanks with the Lord Dominance Regards. Meanwhile, Knight he's on his way to build Rabadons, but we've got some action on the bot side.
Etra says it's lights out and away we go, and Knight going to be the first one sent back to the Fountain. DME. Spammer, he can only sit there and watch. Trade, though, slowly ticking down for the Arcane Storm. Is a 1-for-1 trade, but not what you would have wanted for Sync getting pressured underneath that turret. But they will take, they'll take top laner from mid any day, is Troy. Even on that Volibear is going to be remain useful in terms of damage and stuff like that. It is, I think, a worth trade to lock down the Victor. Ooh! Empyrean splits the uprights, not able to get on a Melancholy. Galio getting involved now as it's Encore to make sure that they continue to lock him down. Melancholy just putting the arrows into the back of the Sync top laner. Shifuse is going to be the next on the chopping board. Sacrifice for the sins of the top laner. Blast Cone to get Empyrean to safety, but he has not yet made it out, as he's not safe anywhere in his jungle. Spammer throwing down the smoke just to buy a little bit of space and get his top laner out of trouble. A Blackmage, CI, they're making plays.
Making plays. Melancholy's making plays. I mean, absolute awesome sidestep by that AD carry just to he went downward just at the last second. Empyrean's ultimate went wide, and because of that, he was able to turn so much damage onto SyncUniverse immediately, and it's going to actually net them this Baron. But just a great play coming out of the AD carry from Serial Enters. I'm excited to see what this player can do as the series progresses.
Round number 2 here potentially for CI. Multiple members of Sync step forward like they wanted to contest this Baron, but may have overstepped the mark. Dragon going to be available in the next 30 seconds, so CI, they're going to channel the recalls, run back out onto the map. Yeah, I don't think it was worth for them to step forward like that. I think if that Baron is absolutely gone, you just call it off and go get prep for Drag.
Yeah, 100%. You know, they're all grouped up as 5. This is when the team comp is strongest, and all of them have pretty much full health. What are you trying to do? Get some poke damage before they back and reset anyways? I just don't really think it's conducive to any kind of major play that's going to happen. Dragon, like you said, wasn't up for another 30 or 40 seconds, so even if you kill one member, it's not really going to make too much of a difference. And yeah, ends up costing them their mid laner, and probably going to be Dragon Soul for the side of Serial Enters.
Yeah, the way Serial Enters were posturing there, the way that they were at Baron, you know, they kind of just got in Spammer's face, like, what are you going to do, shoot me? And Spammer tried to do that, that didn't work out so well. Now they're going to look to potentially secure this Dragon Soul. Lucid managing to get the charm down on top of the Encore, and now they're going to look to finish out the rest of this fight. They want to run down multiple members. Remember, they're wearing purple, so they can slowly start to siege this out. Lights out from Ektra as he wants to try to get on the backside and lock down the Corki. Not able to do so, so has to flash out. Spammer, though, will be donated on the other side for the sense of stepping too close in that Dragon Pit. And now CI, after winning that fight, can look to start to try and put the damage into the structures here for Sync.
Yeah, another excellent play by Melancholy. Ultimate straight onto Shafus. Because you've lost your main support and disengage, it is very easy for the side of Serial Enters to pretty much run down your team comp after that completes. They end up getting multiple kills off of that single play, and now they even get another tower off it, and it looks like Knight's just going to fall. Imperial should fall here as well. I wonder if this might be the end of the game, if they decide to, or if they're just going to settle with the tower take.
I think the respawn timers are super long right now. Knight is a major part of their wave clear, and without him, they're going to struggle. It's Baron empowered minions here for the next 50 seconds. Plenty of time for CI to close us out. I think they are just going to close it out here, Blackmage. I think there's just really nothing that Sync can do. They're going to try and see if they can fight a little bit, but the health bar is still too good. Spammer doing what he can to buy a little space into the line, collects one, but it's not enough. And CI, they're going to collect their first win of this series. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are getting ready for game number 2, draft number 2, and what might potentially be a very, very quick best of 2 series of Serial Enters. Have anything to say about it? I'm still HorizonCasts. This is still Blackmage. We're still your casters, and we're still in this series right now. So let's see if we can get a best of 3.
Yeah, I'm excited. I really hope that it does become best of 3. Obviously, the first game did not go into SyncUniverse's SyncUniverse's plans, rather. Serial Enters really playing their comp as it was designed, playing together, playing around objective play, getting that Dragon Soul immediately into the game, and you know, it was picture perfect. It's exactly how they probably mocked it up in their heads before the game started and in practice, and so to watch them execute that was something really special. But I feel like SyncUniverse has a lot left in the tank. A lot of their players showed some promise in that last game, especially Knight. He is someone that I feel like we should really keep an eye on. I can just tell by the way he was playing those team fights that he obviously knows what he's doing. And I'm excited to see some of the other talent on SyncUniverse pop off as well. But we're just going to have to wait and see what happens in this game as Serial Enters drafts a very safe mid laner first pick, similarly to how SyncUniverse draft the safe first laner last game with the Victor.
Yeah, I think Serial Enters choosing the lock-in that Ari came off the back of Sync banning that Mel. It's kind of the go-ahead play when you see that champion locked away. It means it's going to be easier for you to play that Ari in the mid lane. Being able to deny, I think as Mel being able to deny the charm and then put that back on the Ari is huge. Sets up your own plays as well. So just an opportunity that Serial Enters gets off of kind of being smart in how they're positioning a draft. And obviously being able to get first pick on blue side is nice whenever you want to get yourself a strong mid lane pick.
100%. The Orianna, just a natural answer into the Ahri. It's not like it's very strong into Ahri, but it is relatively safe. You are able to farm from a safe distance and kind of stand away from Ahri's attack range. That being said, Ahri obviously when she has the ultimate does have some kill pressure by using the charm and ultimate into combination with one another. But that being said, a lot safer than most mid laners, with the Jinx picked as a first pick in the bot side. Not something you see too often when there are other AD carries remaining on the table like Caitlyn, like Varus, but still can be piloted pretty easily. Even when first picked, you just have to pair it with the support that can keep you alive, like Karma or Lulu. But Lulu's taken off the table by Serial enters almost immediately.
Yeah. Serial enters, I'm curious what they want to pair that with. Is we were talking about strong bot lane picks. The Yanara was one of the ones I was going to mention. Also things like Sivir and even like the Varus that you mentioned, also great picks there. For SyncUniverse, I want to hit this real quick. I'm curious what they want to pair with this Orianna, because if you're looking at delivery systems, you need some champions that have an easy way in and out. So the ones that come to mind, Xin Zhao, Jarvan are the two immediate junglers that I would think you'd want to pair with that. If you don't have some other maybe niche delivery system in mind. If they don't lock one of those in, then I would fully expect Serial enters to start to try and ban away some of those junglers in this second rotation, as they are going to pick up the Leona to pair with the Jinx.
Yeah, Leona, there used to be a running joke back when I was in Momentum where Fire and Ice, our AD carry, would always say that when he played Jinx, if the other team had any kind of range support, that he really would prefer a tanky engage support, and so Leona really does fill that role quite well. That being said, last I checked, the support matchups and the AD carry matchups between these two champions are almost dead even. They're under 0.5%, so these lanes, I would expect, are going to go pretty even, assuming that they play correctly, and I don't expect one to take advantage over the other. So really, it's going to come down to jungle picks. We already see Serial enters focusing down some of those immediately with the Jarvan ban, followed up by SyncUniverse. Yeah, and the Xin Zhao, followed up by SyncUniverse. Looks like majority really top laners that they're trying to ban out for the side of Serial enters. So wonder if they know some shadow magic that we're not aware of with the Swain ban. I'm not really too sure if that would be something that I would really be scared of, being picked in the top lane with already so much AP being on the board.
Sure. It's a potential Mordekaiser counter, I think, if you want to try and match Drain Tank for Drain Tank. And I think there's maybe something in draft that they're necessarily worried about. Is Lilia going to be a selection there? I'm not sure how I like that given the rest of this composition, especially playing into a Lulu that has the ability to polymorph you. But it is going to give them quite a bit of mobility and some decent damage in the jungle. So the question is for Serial enters, will they want to pick into this top side? They have a number of options. The Nara is still available, so is Cassante and Bessa. Set, another option that could go up there, seeing as both the Sion was banned. We're trying to think of any other potential top laners. Yorick, we've seen quite a bit if you want to get some of the individual split pushing power. As Udyr going to be the potential pick up there in the jungle. What do they want to pair this with in the top side?
Interesting. Yeah. So far, we've got a lot of pretty even lane states here. Udyr and the Lilia pretty much even in win rates versus one another. All of these lanes are pretty stable, but I do have to agree, I'm not really too big of a fan of Lilia into this team comp. That being said, it does provide some control, especially if you have a Lilia that knows how to land the bowling balls. Okay. A Sejuani into the top side, or it could be top Udyr, of course.
Could be top.
You really
Udyr.
don't know. I feel like that is a good flex pick to have. You really just are going to be dependent upon what SyncUniverse pulls out in the top lane. That being said, Gnar seems like a very obvious pick to me to pair into this composition. I really feel like it would work very well, and Bessa does work as well. It is able to take advantage of a lot of these melee top laners. It does have the ability to dive onto the back line if you are really slick with your ultimate placement. So I'm not too mad about the Mbesa. I just wonder who Serial enters are actually going to be playing in the top side against her.
And the flip side of it too is Mbesa, with a couple of kills in the early game, can become a champion that's borderline unmanageable without having 3-4 people to answer it. But we'll see what both of these teams are able to do in this second and potentially final game of the series. CI, they're up 1 sync. They would like to answer back with a win of their own and push us to only our third game of a full best-of-3 series so far within the league. There's no early shenanigans. Everyone just taking a conservative spot. Some early warning going out. And everyone just keeping each other honest.
Yeah, keep each other honest. I feel like everyone, they've done enough scouting. They know where each team likes to get wards and positions and vision. And so no one's really willing to take that risk, especially when you go down a game. You know, on the side of serial enters, if they win this game, they immediately win the series, whereas SyncUniverse has everything to lose. So we really won't see that kind of aggression in game 2, usually only in game 1. Meanwhile, on the top side, a lot of damage coming down early. Trey actually doing a lot more than I thought he would. Both of these top laners having Knight. That is something to be noted.
Yeah, well, having access to that ultimate ability right from the get-go helps you quite a bit. So it'll be easier for Trey to kind of trade a little bit in that matchup, at least in the early game. Now, once Mbessa reaches level 3, then it becomes a little bit more difficult to out-trade him. But for now, Trey will be very, very happy just to kind of soak up that early farm advantage where he can and remain fairly healthy. The electrocute. Oh, interesting that Empyrean decided to go electrocute there on the Mbessa.
Yeah, not too common that you see the electrocute, at least in my experience.
It's Conqueror, right? Conqueror's the most. Yeah, let's say Conqueror's the most used rune. Well, speaking of electrocute, oh, flash forward Knight already down. A couple more autos would give him the frost stack, but manages to dodge out. But a huge summoner blown for the Sync mid laner already in this game. A couple minutes in, we're getting quite a bit of action. Bot side, Mateo wants to have something to say about this one. Ignite already coming down. Cleanse used. Melancholy forced to blow the flash and the heal. Or sorry, the flash and the cleanse. Heal coming out from the Lulu to keep him safe. As Shifuse trying to put that Leo into early use.
Yeah, a great 2v2 matchup by the side of Mate and Shifuse. Really playing that correctly, making sure that they get the most out of their CC and damage combinations between that the passive coming out from the Leona being triggered by the rockets used by the Jinx. Some really strong damage there. But yeah, in the mid lane, Knight forced to burn his flash. Actually burns his flash too, but obviously a better trade.
Oh, there's the regain.
The charm.
Yeah, Knight was just a little too far forward. It didn't seem like it, but when you've got champions that have dashes and you don't have a flash, any amount forward is too far forward. And so CI really quick in the uptake to take advantage of that. Extra now wants to try and walk out of here. Needs to be careful though. Has Lucid to buy him just a little bit of space. Spammer just going to chase him out. Not sure that was worth. Or will the red butt tick away? And it does. Spammer with the calculations walks away with a kill.
Yeah, so I was just about to give Ector some praise for coming back to that mid lane and really taking advantage.
And then he died. Praise rescinded.
Yeah, he had taken advantage of the fact that the Orianna flash had been burned and gets the first blood over to the side of Serial Enters. But immediately after that, looks like a bit of an overstay, a bit of an overstep. You know that their jungler is going to be topside by virtue of how your clear went. And now we're in a situation where Sync was able to get the return kill, but also got both scuttles, and so a bit of a large farm lead for Spammer, and he is taking advantage of this jungle matchup quite well.
Yeah. And I think playing on that Lilia too, we'll need to try and continue to look for plays like that, because Lilia is one of those champions that, you know, you're not trying to ding the player on it, but it's a champion that you have questions for, just because whenever you do see it, it's typically not successful, in either just by dint that it's not played well, or because of the compositions with which it's drafted in. You know, leaves it to look a little bit questionable in terms of what junglers get out of it. And so I think for him, he'll want to get as much threat as possible with it, because you know the flip side of it too is if you've got a really strong Lilia, the ability to just burn the health bars down on a team and chase them really until the ends of the earth is invaluable in terms of being able to set up for objectives and have a threat for the dive and the team fight. And so if he can become that damage threat, that ganking threat for the side of Sync, then that gives them plenty of avenues with which to get commanding leads in this game. But they have a little bit of work to do because they already give up the first blood. And so interested to see where he'll try and strike again across the map.
Yeah, I feel like, you know, Spammer is piloting a champion. The class fantasy, right, of Lilia is actually really fun to think about. You're this fast, nimble, AP melee champion, right? It's just like, it's fun to think about that, and the speed makes it really fun.
Trey?
A lot of damage coming out to Trey. Holy crap.
He's going to go down. That was what we were talking about. Mbessa is one of those champions that you just want to try and keep it down, but in the 1v1, it can be difficult towards the later. And then, plus, when you add a jungler to the mix, that makes it easier. And the kill going over to Empyrean is going to feel really, really good. So that Mbessa now has everything she needs to start to take control of this lane.
Yeah, just a lack of vision really resulted in that kill. Trey overstepping a little too far. Spammer heads up there, ends up getting a kill onto Trey because of his sins. But what I was going to say is that and it kind of calls back to your point that you made earlier. Lilia is one of those champions where you really never see like only doing like average. It's either absolutely abysmal or it's tearing up the game and you can't kill her, right? Doing so much damage.
Oh, Mateo got Polyport. Melancholy has good damage here. Ektra doesn't quite have 6 yet, so no threat on the Glacial Prison. And they're just going to stand here.
Took a little bit more damage there than we probably thought.
Yeah.
Otherwise, but doesn't look like it's going to result in too much as they're able to push both Princess and Melancholy off the wave. 12 farm lead for the side of the Jinx. So Mateo and Shafus really showing off some of their ability in this lane, making sure that they keep Melancholy and Princess at bay as long as they can, and deny as much EXP and CS as they can.
It kind of looks like it was a split call in that, because you did see you saw Shafuse go immediately onto the Lulu, but then Melancholy was just able to kind of zone the Jinx out and not allow that damage to go through. And in the 1v1, the Jinx is not going to win that against the Yunar, especially with having picks on her as well. As Shafuse throws out the Solar Flare for some reason. Not sure what they wanted to get done there. Weren't really going to be able to fish for a kill. But as you highlighted, though, CS lead firmly in the pockets of Sync and that bot side. So we'll have to wait and see if Ektra wants to come trying down there and relieve a little bit of this pressure and potentially look for a kill on top of Mateo.
Yeah, I think it's okay to use the Leona ultimate at will. It's one of those abilities where it's kind of hard to land, and when you do, there are just a lot of opportunities where maybe you can take advantage of it, maybe you can't. But I will say this, the cooldown is so low. It's one of the lowest cooldowns for support in the game. It's already half off, right? We've only been talking for seemingly 12 seconds, and the ult cooldown's already halfway back. And so it's okay, I feel like, to use that ultimate freely. But that being said, something that I think we have not highlighted yet is this top side. We really felt like in base
mid lane.
Nice.
Ektra. Oh, the flash from the Orianna to try and get away from the charm, but not fast enough. Just barely tagged on the coattails. Uh-oh, this might put a dent in the play because Sync, they were pinging on these grubs. Shafuse is here. But this is going to be a man disadvantage. Jump forward immediately, landing the multi-man charm, but not a lot of damage to cover across from it. What else can they get? As it's going to be the Lulu falling Ektra, the next to fall. And Sync, despite having the man disadvantage, are in a great position to take advantage of this. They get 3 quick kills. And they're going to go straight back to the Grubs. Excellent shot calling.
Yeah, I mean, talking about deja vu there, I feel like that exact same play just happened moments earlier, right? A great mid play by both Ektra and Lucid World into a top shift, trying to get some more advantages into the top side of the river, results in their deaths. You know, I feel like maybe they didn't fully understand how healthy the top laner, the jungler, and
Melancholy got the ult going, but a flash out from the Jinx should bring her to safety. As the supports are now walking back towards the bot side, and it will just be a trade of some health bars and a little bit of damage, but everybody should be going on their merry way now.
Yeah, so like I was saying, just an excellent play, heads-up play by Sync to rotate their support there early, and I really don't feel like Serial Enters had all the information they needed. Most certainly didn't realize that Shafus was already up there, helping them with the grubs, and so... yeah, take advantage of that. They'll take their nice 2k gold lead, and really, both Spammer and Empyrean looking really strong in that team fight. That being said, I wanted to give a shout out to Trey. This matchup is not easy for the Udyr to win, and yet he does have a sizable farm lead. Despite going down and having 1 death, still up 20 farm.
Oh, Ektra, excellent positioning here in the side of the bush, and now Shafuse really doesn't have that many places to go. Is going to get shunned up beneath the turret, though. Meanwhile, though, Ektra taking quite a bit of damage for the turret. Shafuse still alive somehow on this backside. The Orianna ball pulls him in. Oh, the Leona living for so long there buys the team plenty of time. Sync with an excellent punish there. It looked like a play for CI, but it gets turned right on its head.
Oh, it's absolute disaster for CI. It really did seem like a great play to start off, but as we saw there, Sync just plays immaculately, lands the abilities in sync perfectly, ends up getting a lot of kills for their for their efforts, and now we're looking at a 3.5K gold lead. CI can be glad that they have that first dragon, but this Hextech Dragon is just, not Hextech Dragon, Chemtech Dragon is just spawned, and it's looking like it's going to be a snack or Sync. We're just got to see if they actually are able to take care of this objective, or if it's going to be responded by CI, and it doesn't look like they are going to respond. So a free dragon for the side of Sync, and yeah, just some great plays all the way around.
Yeah, and what I was going to call before that play kicked off was, there was a minute before that drag timing. I was thinking, man, this bot lane matchup's about to get real explosive. Second dragon available for CI, an opportunity to make a play for it. So there was always going to be a rotation down there, especially with the lead that they have right now. But even though CI, that play doesn't go their way, I think just too heavy a focus on the Leonas, forces the flash out from the Lulu. Now they want to try and dive Empyrean on this top side. Does get the flash out, commits the ultimate, but not able to run away. Spammer, though, gets the Drowsy underneath the turret. Extra takes the full wrath of it. Spammer with so much damage. Trace is trying to run, but there's nothing he can do. He's going to go to the bush to just delay it a little bit, but does fall. Knight picking up his second kill of the game. Fantastic response here for Sync, and I was going to praise CI for trying to make a play on the top side, but Sync way ahead of us. They knew exactly what was going to happen, and they punish it.
Yeah, it really does feel like Sync has a great identity with how they play. They know how to punish a lot of these plays being made by the jungler. Shifus should be able to get
He's fine. He's Leona. I mean, he survived that fight early in the bot side, and he's even stronger now, right? So it should be okay to walk out of here. Oh, Lucid. Not sure what you were trying to do there, but Shifus, he's going to wish he didn't take that Zenith Blade. As the shutdown, unfortunately, goes over to Lulu. But gold on anyone is better than gold on no one, and so they'll be happy to pick that up and get some turret plates. And Blackmage, this game is starting to become a little bit dirty and a little bit more ugly than the last one, and we're not done yet. Spammer now in the bot side just deletes the Lulu off the face of the planet. Lucid not able to land the charm, and now Spammer's just running everybody down. This was the fantasy that we were talking about. This was the class fantasy that we highlighted earlier. Spammer, he can run. He's the magic melee man on the deer on the bot side. Lucid not safe, lands the charm, but it's just going to be a double kill for the Lilia. And even gets a way to go start to steal away some camps. Sync, they are on top right now.
Yeah, Spammer putting on an absolute show in this game. Obviously an excellent player on this champion. Already has 22 stacks in the Jais.
We're trying to talk about things, and you're just going to make a play on the top side. You're interrupting Blackmage. I'm sorry I had to cut in as they just decided to kill the top laner yet again. This Abessa not having a great time.
Yeah, I love it. I like it when teams, even when they have bad things happen, they're still trying to make proactive plays around the map. Extra has seemingly been everywhere this entire game, really trying to affect his lanes. Something I wanted to highlight, Spammer playing very well, already has 22 stacks of the Magi, is going to be an absolute terror on this champion if they end up winning this game.
Andrews too.
Yeah, I would imagine that if they end up winning this game, which given the score lines of this jungler, I would say that they have the definite possibility of doing so. Spammer will definitely win player of the game. That being said, I do want to highlight Lucid. Lucid has been very proactive on this Ahri. He's been landing a lot of key charms that have resulted in some kills, and been quite a delight to see pilot this champion. And so I really would like to see if he's able to land a influential charm maybe later in the game onto Spammer to result in his death, maybe a good shutdown. It's something to keep an eye on for sure.
Yeah. I think so far, if you're looking at any individual player that stood out in the series so far, I think just in this game, Spammer's definitely trying to put his name in the hat for this. I think in the last game, it was definitely a win by committee for CI, where there were great individual plays, but it was mostly a group effort of them just being in the right place at the right time, making sure that they were working together to get the wins. And I think in this game, you're seeing kind of the opposite a little bit for CI, where they have a couple of players that are really performing extremely well, especially with Spammer. And so now it's just going to come down to whether or not he can continue this performance and close it out. Hector, though, wants to try and see if he can find a play of his own. They want to lock down this Jinx. Oh, the Glacial Prison not going to lock anybody down. So they will just instead have to try and settle for this Leona, but she's just so tanky. Flash out. They will, however, get the teleport committed from the Orianna. They're just going to back off. Not sure why they're committing a teleport from Trey on this one. That play is basically over. Herald going to get caught in the top side. Lucid not able to land the charm. Has to back out now. Going forward yet again. Lands the electrocute for a little bit more damage, but nothing doing. Dragon not available for the next 40 seconds. And meanwhile, in the mid lane, Sync's going to be happy with this one. They're going to be more than happy to take that mid lane turret. And so CI, they're sacrificing things across the map for this. This is really going to hurt for them to stay in this bot side.
Yeah, overall, it's a advantage for the side of SyncUniverse. They do end up getting away with a lot of damage here on this mid lane, especially Spammer. Gonna just farm some minions, get a lot of tower gold. He's going to build quite a nice lead for himself as he moves into this top side jungle, trying to take some more camps away from Ectra. To highlight singular players,
CSD. I'm sorry, but look at that. Look how look how disgusting that is. That is.
Yeah.
It makes me want to vomit. Look, he's got 3. He's almost got 3 freaking completed items. He's got a Leandries and a fully stacked Magi's. And he's building what? That Haunted Guy, so he's building Bloodletter's Curse, presumably? Or maybe Blackfire?
It cannot be understated. He is 5.1k up on Ectra.
Get wiggity whacked, says the Spammer, using the stick to beat the Fox Lady in the head. Ectra is going to be the next to go down. A sacrificial double kill to the Sync jungler. My God, Spammer putting his name on this series.
Yeah, Spammer is almost 6,000 gold ahead of Ectra in this matchup. Really putting on a show, doing so much damage with his kit and playing it immaculately. He's going to get the second dragon for the team.
He's 80% of their gold lead. He's 80% of Sync's gold lead.
That's crazy. That's a little scary because now you have a single target that you should be focusing as CI, but how can you even kill this guy?
Yeah.
He's got Conqueror, so as soon as he applies the Leandries, the stacks just start coming. He just bought a Rabadon's straight up.
My God, that's disgusting.
That's scary.
That's disgusting. That shouldn't be allowed. That's illegal. Yeah, you were talking about earlier, Feast or Famine. This is definitely the feast, Lilia. This is like the Valhalla Table of Champions feast right now.
I'm telling you, whenever someone plays this champion, it's either 0-10 or 10-0.
Well, it's 10-0. It's 10-0 right now.
Yeah, exactly. It's never in between.
Don't avert your. Oh, he didn't. Oh, the disrespect. He didn't even finish it with an auto. He just let the passive burn get it. Children, avert your eyes. This is the games that your team doesn't want you to see. This is the games that people try and hide from their junglers because they don't want the junglers to be so greedy.
An earlier point that you were making for individual, standout plays. Oh my gosh,
Spammer, leave them alone underneath the turret, buddy. What more do you want? You're 11-0. You have 3 completed items. You're stealing all the jungle camps. You're winning. You just let him have the turret, buddy. You don't need it. You can come back later.
And you're getting, and they're gonna get the worst soul ever to play against. When Lily gets Ocean Soul, it's so impressive.
So bonkers. That is like a perfect storm of great things going for for Spammer on this Lilia. This is like the worst. Like, if you're talking about the worst ending, this is the worst one for CI as far as Spammer having control in this Lilia.
Yeah. Nearly a 10k gold lead, only 18 minutes in.
They're gonna dive this.
Yeah, it's a complete turnaround from what we saw last game. I would imagine that they do dive this. As soon as this next wave comes, they should be able to take this no problem.
Jinx is coming over.
Standout performances from last game, I would definitely give the edge to Melancholy. I really was surprised with a lot of the AD carry plays that are coming out. A lot of the little side steps that were happening. I like this play on the bot side, trying to do what you can, trying to catch Spammer. I said earlier, Lucid World would be the difference maker. If you can get a nice charm onto Spammer, I feel like that's the only way you actually end up killing this champion. Otherwise, I feel like if he's landing a Q on more than one person, I just feel like the Conqueror stacks, the passive healing is just way too much. You don't have the damage to be able to actually kill him.
Spammer not waiting for the fight to come to him. He's going to take it underneath the turret. He wants to get even more. He's going to collect a Lulu under the towers next to the Nexus. He has not had enough. My God, 14-0-5. This is a massive departure from the last game. Blackmage, they are not safe anywhere underneath in this base.
Yeah, I feel like the entire roster of CI is going to have nightmares of Lilia just stalking them in a forest. This is absolutely terrifying. I feel like they made a Bambi horror movie on Netflix, a really cheap one, and I feel like maybe the Lilia was the star of the show, the star killer. Yeah, this is disgusting. It's nearly 8,000 gold lead purely on the Lilia. 700 gold bounty. Feels like that really doesn't feel
that should
right.
be illegal.
Like
that doesn't sound right. That just, if someone told you that, like, oh yeah, I got carried by a Lilia that went like 14-0-5 and had like the entirety of the gold lead, like, well, how many people went AFK? And it's incredible the lead that he's built, and it's not like I mean, I don't want to take away credit from the rest of Sync. Like, to your point, like, they're doing really well and they're working with Spammer. But, like, a lot of this just is off his own recognizance in terms of, like, getting this done. Let's see, though, if CI can get anything back. They want to lock down Spammer. They managed to get the Orianna, but that's a lot invested for the wrong target. Spammer now just cutting off all the angles for rotation. Extra forced to flash over the wall just to get a little bit of space. Meanwhile, though, Mateo joined the fight just to help donate the kill over to Spammer. Will he have a perfect game? That's the question that we should be talking about. He wants to run down Lucid. He can't be stopped. He's just running and gunning and whacking and schwacking. And my goodness, he is 16-0-5. They're going to run to get the Baron. And Blackmage, I hate to say it, but it's looking like this one's over.
Yeah, as the kids say these days, this one is cooked.
This is cooked.
This is cooked. Spammer is way too ahead, I feel like, at this point. 16-0-5 is just absolutely asinine. And, you know, rightfully deserved. You were highlighting it earlier. You had said how it wasn't like they had just fed him the kills. He worked for it. There were multiple plays towards that top side where he was just in the right place at the right time, took advantage of some over-aggression from the side of CI, ended up getting multiple kills because of it. I think there was 2 different instances that we highlighted where both Extra and Lucid World were punished due to their movement towards that top side without having full knowledge of how SyncUniverse was actually rotating at the time. And yeah, just a masterclass of a game by Spammer rather. And you know, not only is this jungler 16-0-6, but also more than perfect farm.
Extra, they want to see if they can find something. They've got multiple targets that they have to deal with here. DME Spammer on the backside. He is just starting to collect these kills. CI, you may have sold the farm just to try and potentially lock down the Jinx, and there's just nothing going their way as it's gonna be Trey getting slept. Triple kill for the CI jungler, or sorry, for the Sync jungler. CI, this is going to be the end of the game. This is just a massive minion wave stacking here in the mid lane. They've got the damage, they've got the gold, they've got the kills. Blackmage, we're going to our second full best of 3 of the whole entire league now.
Yeah, the second best of 3. Love to see it. A little bit of silver scrapes going on. I feel like just an absolute shellacking by the side of SyncUniverse in this game too. That being said, I don't think we should count out CI. Obviously, they won game 1. Now that the series is tied up,
I'm interested to see what draft adaptations they are going to make as we're getting into it. The bans going to start off. Zyra has been this permanent presence ban for a lot of teams within the league so far. And Syndra, again, going to be the takeaway from Serial Enters there. Curious to see if there's any unique pocket picks that any of these guys are going to bring out, and if either side knows about those pocket picks and knows to ban them. I think there's just a number of league stable picks that you kind of just don't want to give over if you can avoid it. But a lot of like some of the easier to play champions have been kind of played throughout the series so far, but there are a lot of ones that are still available, particularly in that jungler matchup too, which is one of the ones I'm interested in given the performance we just saw from Sync. So interested to see how that will continue to go. I mean, I think it can't be emphasized just in how well Spammer really played in that last game.
Yeah, it was a truly impressive showing. And, you know, so eyes are going to be on this player moving forward, see what other kind of carry jungler he can bring to the table. That being said, Extra did have some great plays during that game on the oh geez, I'm losing my words. Sejuani really did impact the mid lane a lot. It's just that those plays ended up resulting in some misplays towards that top side. We saw that twice in the last game. So I would imagine, though, moving into this first pick, we're going to see another safe mid laner if the trend continues. Otherwise, maybe a first pick AD carry. Caitlyn, Varus still on the board, both available to be picked in this third set. But the Mel can be grabbed, which essentially means there are not very many options available, but Xerath is still on the table. Let's see if that's a counter pick. Yeah,
interested to see if Serial Enters actually want to prioritize that, or if instead they want to try to play for some sort of counter engage in that mid lane. But as you highlighted, like, your picks are starting to get a little bit more pinched here in terms of stuff that's really strong in the meta. And so then really the only thing you can't account for is any specific pocket picks that Serial Enters might have in that mid lane. There's, as you highlighted, there's not a lot of great matchups in Mel. However, If you want to potentially shake things up and kind of rewrite the script here a little bit, Echo would be a decent champion for that, because there's really not a whole lot of projectiles that Mel can throw back at Echo while he's bashed over the head with whatever his staff is, and also gives them quite a bit of dive capability. Question is whether or not that will be committed fully to the mid lane, or if it's a weird jungle flex.
By virtue of the knowledge that I have of Ektra, I really do feel like this is going to be an Echo jungler, but we are not sure if SyncUniverse actually has that same knowledge. Maybe they believe that it is going to go into the mid lane, or maybe that's, Serial Enter's prerogative is they kind of just want to have, the question mark above SyncUniverse's heads during this draft phase. Hey, are we actually going to take this in the jungle, even though we picked it so early? It is quite interesting. That being said, SyncUniverse could push the Mel at support. It's not very common with Xayah, but if, there is some crazy situation where Mel pairs very nicely into the support pick that Serial Enters grab, I could see it, but that is immediately dispelled with this Nautilus pick.
Now, Nautilus, I think, a great pairing here with the Xayah. Some people might have been calling for a Xayah Rakan angle here, but I think given some of the mobility that Serial Enters have already drafted between the Kai'Sa and the Echo, you want something that's going to have a little bit more dedicated CC. And so Nautilus with that point-click ultimate is going to make that so much easier, plus the hook. However, I do like this Taric to buy a little bit of space and potentially deny the Nautilus engage. Nautilus typically having a really difficult time in a lane against the Taric.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like the Taric pick makes a lot of sense. Xayah, by virtue of her kit, really more of a disengaged champion. Obviously can do a lot of damage moving forward, but really the kit is designed to be a kiter. Same thing with Mel, and so the Nautilus, in my opinion, is kind of weird. It does fill a role, right? It is your tanky, pseudo-tanky engager. It does give you the go button, which is needed, but I feel like they're going to need to pair that with another go button in the top side to really make this team comp rounded out, because I do like the disengage and the survivability that Echo and Taric bring to the table for the side of CI. That being said, Sion going to be taken off the table. I would imagine that we're going to probably... Go ahead.
I was gonna say that missed ban there for the side of Serial Enters. It is an actual ban. It wasn't. They couldn't find Fiora. They were trying to click it and couldn't click it in time. So that is going to be the Fiora ban there for the side of Serial Enters. Just wanted to throw that in there really quick, just in case people were wondering.
No problem. Moving forward, teams, let's just type in Fiora. That's what third grade was for, so we can learn how to spell. The Riven, go ahead and banned out by Serial Enters. So they must know something that we don't know. Obviously, they've been doing a lot more scouting than we have for this side of SyncUniverse. It sounds like they are fans of the Riven play. That's something very foreign to me. I rarely play against Rivens. I feel like that champion is picked maybe like 1% of the games I play.
Other top lane picks that I'd like to see now, as we're like seeing this other ban, is Gnar is also available, Shen available, Ornn available for the tank side, Dr. Mundo also available. But that, again, we still don't know. That could be Dr. Mundo jungle or could be top, and the Echo could be mid or jungle. So Serial Enter's kind of keeping us guessing. Curious though what SyncUniverse wants to get here. They have a couple of junglers that are still available. Xin Zhao, Jarvan would be pretty good. Viego available. Trying to think of anything else.
I really love this. I love what Serial Enters is doing in this draft. They are really making it so that SyncUniverse is going to have a hard time predicting where they're going to be placing some of these champions. Echo and Mundo, pretty much universally switchable between, Mundo obviously not very common in the mid lane, but can be piloted there, especially if the matchup is just like not that bad, right? You kind of just survive and tank and move on with your life, whereas Echo can just freely jungle. Meanwhile, if Echo's in the mid lane, it is pretty good in Demel. But yeah, I'm curious to see what they pick as their third. I would imagine it's going to be a Dr. Mundo top and an Echo jungle. But we'll see. Maybe they counterpick the Ornn here and slam Echo mid and Dr. Mundo in the jungle. It's definitely possible.
Yeah, Gnar's still available. It would be a really good pickup for Serial Enters if they wanted to get a lot of draft threat. My only concern would be some of their long-term damage being kind of mostly wrapped up with the Kai'Sa and the Echo. But as you highlighted, they have a lot of draft threat where they could rotate these champions. Is they're going to let it go
I
down
would like
to the wire.
Mordekaiser. Is that crazy?
No, Mordekaiser would be... it's going to be Shelgath. Okay. Yeah, the other champion that we didn't highlight, another great tank pick up there, and also gives them scaling. So the question is whether or not this Echo is in the jungle or whether or not it's the Mundo in the mid lane. All right, well, we will have to ask everyone. Hopefully, depending on who wins this game, we'll be able to get a clear answer on that one. But regardless, we're 1-1 in this series. We're on to a game 3. SyncUniverse and CI both are fighting for their right to get a first win in the Overclock Division. And some decent drafts, I think, for both teams. I would agree with you in that I think Sync's draft is something I would rather be playing. I think just in terms of how cohesive it is and all the tools that they have, it's much more easier for them to play this draft. But I do have my reservations for their ability to fight into what CI has because, man, they've got some meatballs on that composition.
They've got some meatballs, but I feel like, you know, as the game progresses, SyncUniverse will have the tools to be able to answer that. Mel will do some good execution damage towards the latter half of the game. We'll get a lot of overtime damage by virtue of Blackfire Torch and some other items that she could build. Mateo will be able to get a lot of damage down by virtue of the feathers and just some armor pen items that could be built there. And likewise in the jungle with you basically have 280 carries on your team. Yeah, I just feel like SyncUniverse's comp makes a lot more sense. It's a lot harder for the serial enters to really execute on their team comp. They just have to play in your face so very often with virtually no go buttons besides just running at you. And so if SyncUniverse just holds their cooldowns, right? If Mateo just kind of flings out some feathers and then pulls them back at the same time, Princess takes a lot of damage there. Yeah, I really don't feel like there's going to be much of an answer from serial enters. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this plays out.
Early pings. Lucid is here really, really early as this Echo. They would like to knock down Mateo if they can, but Shifu's doing a really good job in locking him down, but he may be giving his own life over. Flash forward did not get a whole lot of distance, and this may be 2 kills going over, as it's going to be first blood going over to Melancholy. Mateo digging underneath the turret. Lucid flashes out, does give his life over, but it's a 1-4-2 in the bot side. CI, you talked about playing in their face. How about playing in your face underneath turret?
Yeah, a really insane play by Lucid coming down from the mid lane into that bot side to get that kill. Ultimately, I don't think that's worth it for the side of serial enters, but let's take a look at this play right here. Melancholy and Princess playing this very well with the mind games, making Mateo and Shifus think that there is no mid laner coming, but here he is, Lucid World getting some nice damage onto Shifus, who ends up falling once the Kaisa flashes forward, gets the nice last hit onto him. The first blood gold goes over to Melancholy, and soon thereafter, a second kill falls upon Shifus, and that's gained by Lucid. But at the end of the day, now you've got Knight, who is a level up and almost nearly doubling the farm of Lucid World, and so I don't really think that was worth it. I feel like the 1 kill would have been pretty sweet, although that probably wouldn't have happened unless that rotation went down. But man, interesting plays. I do like the proactivity. I like the ideas that are coming out from serial enters to try and get some early advantages, and they have a 100 gold lead, so.
Early Darksteel pickup there for Lucid World, so he'll be able to kind of snowball that into a little bit of pressure, though I agree that losing that much farm in the mid lane is going to feel pretty rough, at least in the early game right now. Eventually he'll be able to make that up as Trey. A not so favorable trade with Empyrean. But I think what is kind of the saving grace to that, though, is the fact that they did get 2 kills, and he did walk away with 1 of them, plus the assist. And the gold going over to Mercenary on Kaisa is really good, so they get all the summoners out of Mateo, so that's an easy repeat gank, especially once everyone starts to take over level 6. And so flash for flash, the top side, and the top laners bullying each other. But I think for CI, though, I think they're honestly I think they're kind of happy with what they got out of that. Like, they've got early pressure in this bot side. They can look to regank it anytime they want to. They're even starting to get advantages on the top side. There's a knockup. Flash forward from Ektra. Gets the kill. A cleaver and a smack to the face knocks that one down. 3 kills over to CI. They are doing what you said that they should be doing, playing in their face. They want to waste no time in trying to get in this lead.
Yeah, a really good play by Extra. Something that should be noticed there. He saved the flash until Empyrean had to make a choice, essentially, whether to go to the left side or the right side of that tower. That essentially allows Extra to flash and land a cleaver with an immediate auto attack to follow it up, and it results in that kill. And so, yeah, just an excellent play by Extra. And it looks like Knight might be caught here.
Lucid,
Or maybe
trying to
Extra.
get something. Oh, Extra is the one to go down. Knight using the advantage of having that early level 6, and now it's gonna be Lucid World being traded over. So we're back to even in kills. And you highlighted it, Blackmage, that gold giving over the level lead does not feel so good, and Knight wasted no time in abusing it.
Yeah, Knight is going to be the player to watch here. You know, we talked about Spammer in the last game. I really feel like Knight is about to put on an absolute show. He's already 2 kills up. He's going to start getting a nice golden EXP advantage by virtue of keeping Lucid World off of these waves. And now that he's got the item advantage in this ranged matchup is going to be really tough. You know, in a 1v1, in a perfect scenario, in a vacuum, sure, Echo is pretty good into the Mel. You can play that matchup pretty well if you avoid the Q as much as you can. The trades are not that bad, but in this scenario, it's tough. The item advantage alone, the XP advantage is going to make a lot of the poke hurt just that much more. Empyrean's going to just execute here after the proxy.
Just a little quick trip back to the fountain. Just a little sweet treat. Do I touch a little sweet treat in the fountain? And
yeah. No, it's a good play.
Yep, CI gonna ping onto this dragon as well. They're gonna give that off tempo. I think decent call for them too. Like they can just go and grab this objective for free. They know it on timing that they can get it.
Yeah, a great response by Serial Enters to get onto that dragon. They, like you said, they understood the timing. They understood where the opposing team was, where the jungler could have been at that given point. That being said, Extra, despite falling in that top side, is pretty much even, if not ahead, in farm with Spammer. So that's good to see. Extra is clearing his camps effectively and keeping pace. You know, it's going to, like I said earlier, I feel like this game is really going to revolve around.
Oh, gets rooted up there. Exhaust coming out to try and deny some of the damage from Mateo, but will be ticking down quite a bit below half, so going to have to be very careful. Does this signal a jungler to come over and pay a visit to this also vulnerable bot side? Kindred, the champion that you would want for the job to try and dive underneath 2 people.
Yeah. No, I feel like this game's going to really revolve around Extra and Lucid working together to really stay on top of the of SyncUniverse during these team fights. It's just we're going to have to see some really huge raw aggression nonstop. Otherwise, I feel like their team comp's just going to kind of fall behind naturally. So it's good to see that they're keeping pressure. But 1,000 gold lead over to the side of SyncUniverse, and it's pretty much half of that is off the back of Knight in this mid lane. It is going to be really enjoyable saying Knight in context of a tournament, given that we've got Knight in the LPL. I feel like it's just going to flow off our tongues much easier.
Oh yeah, we're going to start drawing unkind comparisons to both Knights. Speaking of unkind comparisons, though, I do want to make a kinder comparison. Point out that Lucid has done a good job at actually trying to get this farm now back to parity. So he's just 10 CS under. So doing a good job recovering. And also he's less behind as a level advantage, a couple of minutes, and he'll take over to level 8, which will be nice. But really want to see him get involved again. You know, had that play towards the bot side and has kind of been quiet since then. Has been very heavily affected. Speaking of getting heavily affected, Shafuse landed the hook. On top of the Taric there is going to send him straight back to the fountain, and that will certainly have some sort of effect as Sync, even though they've been at the mercy of some of these earlier plays, they are definitely doing a really good job in staying even and trading.
Yeah, abilities should not be confused with tankiness. Mana gem on a Taric does not equate to anything that allows you to have extra survivability.
Nope.
And so, yeah, a quick anchor flag and drag into Mateo. Featherstorm is going to cause a lot of damage. It stuns up Princess, and they end up getting the kill for that. So, propelling themselves into a better lead than they had before, nearing 2,000 gold. Lucid World pushed off that mid wave. Meanwhile, on the top side, the tanks are just beating each other up.
Unfortunately for Lucid, the one projectile that he does throw out, which is that Sidewinder slow, is the exact thing that Knight can throw right back at him. And so for Echo, I'm sure that kind of sucks to thinking, oh, I'm going to be able to get the dash forward and get a little bit of damage in the side of my stasis field. And then, no, Sidewinder slows you down. But speaking of slowing down, they would like to slow down Trey here as Empyrean going to use the last of his mana to try and get this horn down. Trey doing a really good job of zoning, though. Fantastic movement out of him to avoid being hit by the majority of those abilities. The CI, they're going to try and
knock-up was really good.
They're going to try. They were trying to put pressure on Knight in the mid lane to... oh, nice little knock-up there to stop the back. CI was trying to trade for pressure in the mid lane, but weren't necessarily able to get a whole lot out of it. Not sure what they're trying to posture for towards the bot side. There's no jungler. Guys, stop trying to back in this. Okay. I was going to say, if he interrupted it a second time, I was like, once on you, fool me once, shame on him. Fool me twice, stop being idiot and backing. Oh, Lucid. Yep, gets the kill. He was going to try and throw out the ultimate was Knight, but wasn't able to get it off before he popped. That Ignite helping him take over. So Lucid now starting to try and put his mark on the game. Gets the quick kill in the middle in the mid lane.
Yeah, that is going to be absolutely huge for Lucid. He needed not only just the gold, right, just to try to, close that gold gap, but also just like a mental gap that might be happening in that mid lane. It's always good to get a kill on a mid laner who's ahead of you. Right here, we're going to see some replay of that kill. Right now, the camera is bouncing around and not showing us what we need to see, but it eventually will pop to this mid lane. Lucid World looking for the kill already. Seeing that Knight has just used his snare means that he can get on top of him pretty easily. Throws out the Q after the reflect has already popped off, and because of that, Lucid World walks away with the kill. A nice shutdown going over to Lucid on the side of Serial Hunters.
And I like how close this game is right now. The first game was pretty neck and neck. The second one was definitely a blowout for the side of Sync, and so now I think CI just trying to do what they can to mentally pop back and make sure that they get something done here. But no one would boost their spirits. Would be trying to get 2 quick kills in this bot side. Melancholy flashes out and he uses the bear, uses the ultimate to get around once the lockdown. Mateo does manage to do so, but gets traded back in the end. A double kill for Spammer, continuing to put his name on this series. It's going to be a quick pickup for Sync in the bot side, and now they're going to have complete control over the drag pit.
Yeah, I mean, it's the story of these games. Lucid World might be in a caught position here. No, he's going to be able to get out. It's the story of the games, right? It's the theme. It's the theme that SyncUniverse is going for. They elect to place Spammer onto these volatile champions that, if they get ahead, are extremely good at maintaining and even exceeding those leads. Remember, the first game was the Graves.
Lucid was momentarily looking like that play was going to be worse than it was because he got hooked up there by Shafuse, but Empyrean is here now, so they may be looking for just a little bit more. Horn going to come on out as the stun keeps him in place, doesn't get the recast of it, but now Spammer is here. Ultimate committed by Knight. What else can they get? Trey here to do just a little bit of frontlining. Lucid World going to be forced to use the ultimate. Didn't get a whole lot of distance of it. Straight into the waiting arms of the Yorn. Gets knocked down by Knight. And the Sync continuing to make plays all across the Rift as they picked up that they picked up that dragon. Now, who was it that got the dragon in the interim there? I wasn't able to see that. I'm pretty sure it was Sync because CI already had one. Yeah, Sync got it because because CI already had one. So Sync gets that dragon and they get a bunch of kills. So for them, they're going to be sitting pretty in this game right now. They're taking away resources. They're fighting pretty good.
Yeah, and I'm trying to see how many marks that Spammer has. I don't know if you have the ability to do that.
Yes, I do. I can...
6 marks already.
6 marks, yep.
Holy. Okay, so yeah, Spammer is already on pace to be extremely strong come this mid to late game. Yeah, like I was saying earlier, Spammer played on the Graves game 1, but didn't really have too many opportunities to actually take advantage of that champion, and Lucid World's going to be able to get out of there. Game 2, placed onto another volatile but strong champion in the... oh geez, lose my words. Champion names hard to remember.
We talking about?
Regardless, Spammer's champion last game. Lilia. This game placed on to this dude. This is just Kindred. Jeez. all 3 champions that I don't play against very often, and really these latter 2 games just taking advantage of what these champions can do, really playing to the strengths of them and getting advantages all over the map. And so Spammer playing a great game of League of Legends. The same thing with Knight. Knight's having a great game. That being said, Lucid and Extra have had some great return plays. And I'm excited to... Oh, this is going to be an ultimate.
He walked right into that too. That's unfortunate.
Now, Okay, so the ultimates negate each other.
Bot side, though, the action still continues. Mateo getting a massive two-man stun with the Feather Recall, but now the ultimate from the Terek's going to come out. They want to dive this and try and knock the kills, but with the ultimate expiring, that means that the play will now be finished and called off. And so both teams still looking for something. CI is still trying to make scrappy plays, which is the point I was going to make here for a second, which is I want to see them try and slow the game down a little bit. Like, you have scaling elements with your Kai'Sa and with your Cho'Gath. You don't really have to be in a rush right now. You're not under threat of losing too much. It's one dragon apiece. You know, Sync already got the grubs, but you could look to make a play for the Rift Herald here, you know, shortly, even though, Spammer's already there. So, you know, they're not on a timer. Like, they have plenty of opportunities in this game when it gets to late, you know, to make plays and win. So I would say for them, just calm down, slow it down a little bit, stop trying to be super reactive, wait for all your champions to get 2-3 items, and then look to start team fights, which is where you've shown that you're strong.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like you should just, you know, wait. If you're on the side of serial enters, your job is really to wait for Sync to kind of engage, and then once the gap has been closed, that's kind of your go button. It's a very awkward way to play, and probably not something that these players are used to, but that's really what you're going to have to do.
Princess flash forward, manages to get the stun and the exhaust on top of Mateo, but does just walk on out of there. So a lot invested to try and knock down the Sync bot laner without a whole lot in getting anything out of it, excuse me. As she's not going to be dropping. Tarek going to be going down there. Extra low health bar means that he can't really trade for anything either, so this will just be the damage going on to the mid turret. And the action continues bot side with Knight continuing to put damage in that tower. So Sync right now, Blackmage, they've got all the advantages. They're looking really, really strong right now.
Yeah, cool. I mean, Lucid World might be able to get something here.
Flash for flash. Ultimate going to be committed. Lucid trades his, though. Gets the 1-for-1, but now he has 2 more visitors to deal with, and with no way out, should just be the 1-for-1 trade here, as that's going to be given over to Spammer. 3-0 and 3 on the Kindred.
Yeah, I feel like that mid lane play really highlighted the problems in this serial intercomp. It was like the most aggressive play they could really hope for. The most aggressive play. The only go button they have, which is essentially Princess flashing forward with a stun. And when that play doesn't go your way, it is a really feels bad man moment, because now you have no flash on your support. You didn't get the kill. In fact, the kill got turned around onto your team.
Speaking of getting turned on, there may be wishing that they didn't take this fight, as Spammer now going to be forced to use the ultimate prop. I think for the first time this game, wasn't able to collect the kill on the Melancholy, but does manage to collect the kill onto the Tarek. And now it is just going to be low health bars for some of the CI members there towards the mid lane, and we'll just be forced to watch this play happen. As Spammer going to summon up the Herald in the mid lane, look to charge this down, and potentially rotate over to the Dragon.
Yeah, it looks like Serial Hunters have already made their way over to the Dragon, so they do have early advantage here to try to, gain some land and extra.
This Dragon is low. They've already started this off. He is able to smite it, but gives his life for it because Spammer had taken the recall, so it is a 1 kill for Dragon. And 2 in the pocket for CI, but not sure that was worth. Now Spammer's here. What else are they looking for? The majority of the members of CI have backed off already. He is just going to take the camps.
I feel like as long as he's the only death, it's not too bad, but we do see Spammer immediately coming in and taking all the camps, so it does put Extra even farther behind, which is not something that you would like to see on the side of Serial Enters. Another brief pause to really count what Spammer has been stacking up. He's got 8 Kindred marks. So going to become very, very strong once I believe the breaking points roughly for stats-wise is like 10 or 12. That's really when Kindred starts to come online with the increased power. I could be wrong there. I'm not a Kindred main, so anyone in chat that would be a great a Kindred player perhaps could,
all I know is stacks equals stonks. More stacks you got, the more stonks you got.
Yep, for sure. Someone with the Kindred knowledge that I have for Syndra would really be in some welcomed information here. I just feel like the problems we pointed out in that Serial Enters team composition in the draft are just coming to fruition. Lucid is truly playing a good game. He is seemingly winning a lot of these 1v1s against Knight, even though Knight seemingly has a pretty sizable lead, the 1.6k gold in his favor. But it just doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter if you win the 1v1 if your team comp can't really take advantage of that on the sidelines or at any objectives, because at the end of the day, you have no go button. You have no ability to get on top of SyncUniverse, and SyncUniverse just has too much disengage.
Yeah. Well, and I think like even looking back to that last drag play where they were able to trade, jungler and kill 4 dragon, I think really the only reason they got that was because they found it on a timing, because they knew that Spammer had to go back to base. He wasn't at a health percentage where he could just go up and take that, and so knowing that he was low and that they were just going to have to trade tower for it with the Herald summoning coming out, because you're always going to lose tower when that Herald comes out, just saying, okay, well, we have an opportunity to grit Drax, so let's grab it real quick. And so good on them to pull the trigger on that and make sure that they get that, but the side effect of that, though, is, they're still not really contesting Sync across the map. Like, they really have the run of Summoner's Rift right now. They can kind of go where they want. Spammer doing a really good job to denying these stacks, or denying all these camps. And now, even at this moment where it looks like they were going to be able to potentially find something, they're just getting engaged on Sync. They're going to group together to get the ultimate out from the Taric. Melancholy, though, forced to completely back all the way off. And there might just be a kill being donated as extra. Going to be hooked up. Ooh, that one. Matrix bending the hook around the wall. And that baited in Princess, unfortunately, who's going to get killed there in the jungle. Sync getting absolute command over this bot side jungle. They're going to look to push in towards the tower. Blackmage, this is shades of game number 2 from Sync in this game.
Yeah, there's shades of it. I really don't think that it's any one individual player that's kind of the standout. It really just does seem like an impossible task for serial hunters. Actually, looking for something. I think it's just going to
Sync are actually fine here. That looked like potential. That was a flanking angle for CI, and it was not. And so Sync will be happy to take those kills. And what might have been an okay situation, just letting Sync back off, CI re-engaged, got a little too greedy. And so they get punished even heavier for it as Lucid World on this bot side turret. Knight going to be sent to answer that one, but Sync, I don't think really care too much about that.
Yeah, I mean, I like it. I like the idea. I think Lucid World should be in that bot side. You're losing pretty much everyone on the map. You should be getting gold where it's available for your team. Try to hemorrhage some of the, to limit some of the hemorrhaging.
Can they interfere with this? Flash ward from Princess wants to try and see if they can lock down the jungler. Not able to do so and gets traded back. It was a decent attempt, and they only lose the support, but I still think was not a lot of air. Empyrean was the last person caught backing there and maybe dying here as his team completed the recall. Flashes forward from 2 members to try and lock him down. Not sure that was worth. They do, however, manage to grab the top laner from Sync, but he gets traded back. Yep, not sure that was worth. I'll be honest, Blackmage, yeah, you get the Ornn, but was it really worth?
I'm going to be honest. I think that was a big, fat, stinky dookie.
Yeah.
I feel like there is no reason that Princess should have been in that pit. You don't have your jungler. There's no chance that you're just going to walk in and stun, and even if you do, you're not going to take that Baron. We're not in Iron. We're in Masters League. So, yeah, Spammer has the smite available. Even if you stun him, you can smite while you're stunned. So, I think overall that was just a horrible play. I don't see the point in it. I think it was absolutely useless. You just gave more gold over to the side of SyncUniverse. I'm going to be honest, dude. That was awful. I don't want to hate on it too much, but that was pretty trash.
Well, tell us how you really feel.
That being said... Yeah, no, that kind of pissed me off, to be honest.
Everybody just like that. Everyone's looking at, like, there's only, like, 2 people staring at you do this. Your jungler's not even there. This, if there's 4 people alive and, the Baron's at a little bit healthier state, okay, maybe I can see a play where maybe you're just trying to pick some people off and play for kills. But they didn't even commit to that. They just sent Princess in there to, potentially try and get a stun on the jungle, which is never going to happen. And then, they get the...
You can still smite.
Yeah, and they get the Ornn at the end, but that wasn't because that was an engineered play. It wasn't like that was their intention. It was just Empyrean stayed a little too long. And they're in another world where he just walks off. They don't get anything out of that. And then they still give over a kill in the end. So it was 2 kills for 1, and they still lose the Baron. So, yeah, I think, like, you hit it perfectly. Like, not sure that was worth it all. It for sure wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, it's different if Lucid World and Trey, Extra was kind of out of the picture there, but if Lucid World, Trey, and Melancholy are all right on top of you, and there's a chance that you can get some kills as they try to flee Baron. That's a little bit different. But we did not see that in that play, and so we will move on. Live and learn. All these players are not perfect, obviously. We don't expect these players to play at an LCS caliber, but it is fun just to poke fun every once in a while.
Speak for yourself, I do. I better see these guys. I expect to see these guys being drafted onto a team. No, I'm just kidding. No, I mean, like, you don't, I think you highlighted it perfectly. Like, you don't expect them to get everything right all the time. Like, Masters level, while still high, there's still room for improvement, but you don't expect plays like that. You expect a greater level of discipline an understanding of the game state to not be making a play like that. Or if you're gonna make, like if you see a team make that play, then you fully expect them to make it together. Speaking of making plays together, you can also die together is something that you can do if you're CI right now. With Sync, they're going to collect yet another kill. They've got the purple for just a couple more seconds. They're going to start to put the damage into this turret as it is a little bit of a base race.
I feel like this is a game-ending march.
This is game.
They know, yeah, they know that Lucid World's bot lane, and they know that they're going for broke. I feel like they're just gonna end the game here. If they send a player back,
this depends on whether or not CI can clear this wave.
Lucid
if they can,
is doing something.
Yeah, he is right now. They're managing to clear this wave pretty well, and Orange gonna be the one backing. He's getting quite a bit done. I was gonna make fun of the play, but he did quite a bit of damage to that Nexus turret. But the wave's still getting cleared away. Wait a minute. We may have been admonishing the wrong team, CI. I mean, it wasn't the right play at the time. It felt like, but now, oh, CI, if they can get a bunch of kills here, this might be worth low health bars, but multiple people fighting inside the Kindred ultimate. They need to get multiple members. If they don't, this could just be the end of the game, as Trey needs to walk out of here as it's multiple dead members. Lucid only just now going to be completing the recall 3 strong, but low health bars.
There's no spammer ultimate. There's no ultimate on this Kindred. That's something to keep an eye on.
Lucid's really, really strong right now. He has the completed Death Cap, has the completed Dawn of Dusk. These low health bars could signal an indication for him to go in. It's just when he's going to pick his moment. All he needs to do is stall and wait for a couple more members to come up, but Sync, they don't want to wait that long. They have a minion wave, just a couple of minions left. They want to put the damage in. Lucid, if you're going to go in, you've got to go in right now. And I mean, ASA right now, flash forward, it may have been a little too much too late. Sync walk away with the win. My God, Blackmage, a base race just to lose for CI.
Up and down on my feet, feel like I'm ascending.